I should say, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
Hello and welcome to Frasier House. I'm Mark Greene.
I'm Harrison Bloom.
And I'm Zach Horowitz.
We're listening
To Frasier House. It's finally happened, guys.
We're talking
here.
about Frasier.
After
We're finally talking
weeks
about Frasier.
of Mark and Tyler telling us about Frasier and making constant Frasier references, they finally managed to get us to watch an episode.
Because we are so confused, we had to bring in resident Frasier expert and a special guest, but also not so special, because really, he's been here all along beside us. Tyler, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi-ho.
Tyler's here.
That's right, you didn't know it. Tyler sounds exactly like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
He's just going to do the entire podcast as Kermit.
Oh, God, no.
Our good friend and producer of this podcast, Tyler Janess, is here.
It's weird, yeah.
Yay,
Yeah.
Tyler's here.
I'm going to edit this myself, so, I can make any mistake I want.
I do not envy you. I hate the sound of listening to my own voice.
The power.
He's gonna make himself sound so good and all of us sound so shitty.
You know me
He's
so
gonna
well.
turn the gate all the way up for our voices so that it's
As if he
distorted.
doesn't already make us sound shitty on a weekly basis.
Guys, but back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
Frasier.
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 What, if anything, did you guys know about Frasier going in?
I can start this off.
Yeah, we'll start with Zach.
Joseph William Frasier, born January 12, 1944, died November 7, 2011, nicknamed Smokin' Joe, was an American professional boxer who competed from 1965 to 1981. He was known for his strength, durability, formidable punching power, and relentless pressure fighting style, and was the first boxer to beat Muhammad Ali. Frasier resigned as the undisputed heavyweight champion from 1970 to 1973, and as an amateur won a gold medal at the 1964 Summer Olympics.
Zach, that's
Incredible.
Joe Frasier. We're talking about Frasier Crane, noted radio psychiatrist.
Oh, I was so confused because I was like, what is this vaguely British sounding man doing in a show about the life of Joe Frasier?
I was, it was definitely something. I was like, yeah, for a show about a boxer, why are they putting on a play about not boxing?
It's a different take.
It's a different take.
Yeah,
That's true. It's not a pure biopic. It's more inspired by the idea of Frasier.
There were a lot of studio notes. Hey, instead of a boxer, can he be a radio psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Hey, instead of maybe competing against Muhammad Ali, maybe we just take that character from Cheers and move him to Seattle.
Also,
Like-
instead of the main character being you, it's played by Kelsey Grammer, who looks nothing like you.
Yes. Oh boy. But in all seriousness, what I knew about Frasier, the TV show, not the boxer, is that it is a spin-off of Cheers, featuring Frasier Crane, who I think is a psychiatrist.
Correct?
you
Yeah.
Said? Yes, and I saw him in the few episodes of Cheers that I've seen, but and I loved him.
So not
I
a
was
boxer.
very excited to see Frasier. No, not a boxer. Though I'm sure
Not that
I'm
we
sure
know
he
of.
could learn quickly. He might have been in a few underground fights. We don't know.
Yes, Frasier is very athletic.
There's still a chance.
Yes, that's true. There is still a chance.
And Zach, did you know anything about Frasier the TV show and not Frasier the boxer?
Okay, yeah, in all seriousness, I knew kind of the same stuff Harrison just said. I knew it was a spin-off of Frasier, starring Frasier.
Frasier's a spinoff of Frasier?
Oh, a spin-off of Cheers, starring Frasier. And other than that, it's mostly just random bits of information that I've picked up from listening to Mark and Tyler talking about this in the past.
Now, we should say the episode we watched was it season 4, episode 18?
Yeah, season 4, episode 18.
Ham Radio, which maybe is an interesting introduction to the show. A very good episode, very self-contained, but we actually don't get a ton of a lot of the regular characters. So I just wanted to know, what did you guys think of Frasier after this episode?
Oh, I love this. This was hilarious.
Yeah,
this
it
was a
was
great comedy.
It was good. I also want to point out, I did look up IMDb trivia for this as well. And the first thing for this episode specifically is that it says, of all the episodes of Frasier, Kelsey Grammer cites this one as his favorite. So it's a pretty good starting point, I guess.
Pretty good. Yeah.
And it was definitely
nice.
it was definitely good. I think to me personally, it started off a little bit slow, but then by the end, it really picked up. Like by the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is a very good show.
Yeah, this episode ramps up. It starts sort of, after watching a lot of Fuller House, I was surprised at how quickly this started.
Yes, same.
Because,
I was like, it was insane.
Yeah, Frasier sits down at Cafe Nervosa, their coffee shop, and tells Niles and Martin, his father and brother, that he's putting on a radio drama of Nightmare Inn for KACL's 50th anniversary.
Oh, wait, hold on, Mark. Can you say that again, but then do a pause after Nightmare Inn so I can put the ominous music afterwards?
Yeah.
Look at Tyler directing us mid-episode.
Frasier immediately sits down and tells Niles and Martin, his brother and father, that he's putting on a radio drama of Nightmare Inn for KACL's 50th anniversary. Like right away, we're getting into it, which was actually a professor of mine said, like, you know, when you're writing an episode of a TV show, you can just start earlier than you think you can. Just first scene, set up what the episode is about. And this episode does exactly that.
Yeah. It's very fast paced compared to something like Fuller House, which like, and I feel like
a lot, a cold opening or an opening bit that just goes on for a very long time, and
like I think it's also just because I feel like a lot more happens just because of the fast paced nature, and because of that they're able to fit more into the 20-minute time slot. It was definitely like jarring going from Fuller House to this.
Yeah. This episode also has very little plot proper. There's a lot of like setup and payoff, but like I was taking my notes and I have about a page and a half of notes when I usually have 2.5 pages, because so much shit that doesn't matter happens in Fuller House.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is also why we're not quite focusing on recounting the plot so much, because I think this was mostly about the back and forth between the characters, the jokes. We'll talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just more interested in talking about that good show Frasier.
So like for people who might be watching this, I know we're most of our fans are like Fuller House fans, but in case anyone is watching this and is interested in learning more about Frasier,
if anyone is
because
like,
I know nothing about Frasier either.
If anyone is
what
like
is like
either me or Harrison,
what is like the true premise of Frasier outside of the fact that it's a spinoff of Cheers?
Well, Frasier is about a noted radio psychiatrist, Dr. Frasier Crane. His dad lives them in his swanky apartment that my mom absolutely loves and makes a point of mentioning every time she hears about the show. But so Frasier lives with Martin, his father, who is a retired cop, and his brother, Niles, who is also a psychiatrist, but not a radio one. He's a real psychiatrist. And he frequently visits Frasier and Martin. Mark, you seem to have your hand raised.
Yeah, it's just funny. This was one of the things that I was interested in your reaction about. Niles is an anomaly, I think, because Niles is an anomaly. I think by far my favorite character on the show.
Same.
And Niles should not work. Because you kind of saw it in this episode a little bit, but not really. Let me describe Niles' character to you.
He's the same character.
He is the same character as Frasier. He is exactly the same.
Up to 11.
He's Frasier, but more.
Oh my god, he's Frasier, but more Frasier.
Well, he's basically like Frasier in that first like season he was on Cheers, where he's like a lot more like stuffy and like erudite and all that stuff. So Niles is like an attempt to recreate that early Frasier, but you know,
up more.
Yeah,
an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
Which Niles only exists because they saw a headshot of David Hyde Pierce and said, "Wow, he really looks like a young Kelsey Grammer when he was first on Cheers. Maybe Frasier could have a brother. I don't know." And that was apparently the end of it. They didn't do more work because they didn't go like, "What's the brother like?" They're just like, "What's the brother like?" I guess he's like Frasier. Like, imagine pitching it and being like, okay, so Frasier's really cultured and into like wine and opera and stuff. And like, I get it. His father, who is a retired police officer, to tell you more about the show, is like very, low cultured. He just likes to sit on his ratty chair and watch TV. So I guess, how does the brother fit into it? Well, the brother is just like Frasier. Okay, but like, what does separate them? Like, he's not a psychiatrist, right? No, he's a psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist.
The thing that separates them is that they're trying to out Frasier each other.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's the show.
That's
why
it.
it
There we go.
works.
I'm just imagining they're like in the boardroom doing a pitch. It's like, okay, imagine Frasier, but now there's two of him.
Oh my God, they're multiplying.
Oh no, there are more Frasiers.
Oh no.
Wait, when I watched Cheers with you, Mark, I seem to recall Frasier having a wife. Is she in this show?
Yes, Lilith is in the show. She's actually, of the Cheers characters, she's the one that shows up the most. She's actually excellent on this show. Bebe Neuwirth is an absolute goddess, and we stan.
She is amazing. She and Frasier are divorced at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
They do have a child together, though, Fredericks, and he shows up on the show sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice.
But she's very, very good.
Yeah, she was. I remember loving her performance. Yeah.
The only two other characters that we should mention right now are Roz Doyle, who is Frasier's producer at his radio station KACL, and there's also Daphne, who is Martin's live-in nurse, who takes care of him.
Yeah, she's his physical therapist. The premise of the show is basically, at the beginning of the show, Frasier has moved from Boston to Seattle, where he's originally from. And Martin moves in with Frasier because Martin just got shot on duty. So now he has to retire from the force, or he is retiring from the force. Daphne is his physical therapist, who they bring in to help Martin. But also she just kind of becomes Frasier's like maid.
Oh my God.
Okay.
There's a constant thing where he's like, Daphne, could you take the laundry, or could you get the laundry or whatever? And she'll say, I'm not your housekeeper.
The door, there's like a door knock, and then like they all kind of look at Daphne and wait for her to open it.
This all makes so much sense based on what the little that we've seen of Daphne in this one episode, because she doesn't really have much of a presence in this one episode, but from what she does have, I can totally see this being her character.
Yes.
Daphne's role is that Frasier makes her do things that are not her job.
Also, there's one other thing. Mark, you want to take?
Oh, is this the Niles and Daphne?
Yeah,
situation?
Niles and Daphne. Yeah.
Yeah. Niles is hopelessly in love with Daphne,
And
he is married.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's
and
bad.
no, we do not ever see his wife.
Ever.
Oh my God!
Oh Jesus!
You saw a dog that kind of looks like her when she has like a little pillbox hat, but
Yes,
that's kind of
we see like her silhouette once.
We see her silhouette.
Wow.
Okay.
Now that's a thing where in Cheers we never saw Norm's wife Vera, who by all accounts was like a normal person, and the jokes with her were like, naggy wife.
We never saw her face. There was the Thanksgiving episode where she gets a pie.
She
in the
shows
face.
up and she gets pied in the face. Yes.
That's funny.
And so on Frasier, they introduce Niles' wife, Maris.
Okay.
These characters have very normal names.
Yeah.
And
Maris
I think if
Niles.
I'm remembering my Frasier trivia right, we originally were going to see Maris because they didn't want to repeat the joke, but they just became so enamored with coming up with more and more outlandish descriptions of Maris that they were like, we can't ever show Maris.
Yeah.
She's very, very thin
Mhm.
and has had many plastic surgeries.
Oh no.
Oh my God!
But back to the episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next to the episode.
So Frasier wants to do a radio play, which is a murder, like an Agatha Christie murder mystery, and they already know exactly what he's going to do, which is become Orson Welles.
Yep. That's, again, we set up in the first scene all of the problems. Frasier's directing, and Niles says, "Oh, that's going to be a disaster. You're a terrible director. You micromanage. You can't let anything go." And guys, guess what? Niles' prediction comes true.
Whoa!
Yes.
Niles is a psychic.
Yeah, maybe he's a little bit psychic.
Yeah.
That was a joke for Tyler. Do you want to explain, Tyler?
Well, Daphne, in the show, one of the first things that we learn about her is that she thinks she has psychic abilities. So she actually, during the show, frequently will say, like, I'm a bit psychic.
Oh.
Yep.
No, it's good.
That
So
was
maybe
very
maybe
good.
it rubbed off on,
Uh-huh.
on Niles, or Niles rubbed off too much, and then now he has psychic abilities.
So Zach, you made the
Yes.
psychic reference before I could.
I made the psychic
You are
reference.
becoming indoctrinated into Frasier.
I made the psychic reference
Oh
without
my
even knowing that
God.
it was a thing in the show.
Yeah, it's just a natural conclusion.
Yeah, look, that's just the natural conclusion. If anyone predicts anything right, I just assume they're psychic.
Yep. But Frasier starts recruiting everyone he knows to act in this radio play, all of his coworkers, which means we meet the recurring side characters who also have shows on KACL, their radio station, including restaurant critic Gil Chesterton.
Oh, Gil.
What to say about Gil?
Gil is
Oh.
wonderful.
Gil, oh my god. Gil is every British stereotype outside of Cockney. There is no London in him. It is all Surrey.
Oh my god.
By the way, guys, you'll be surprised to hear this. Gil is happily married, by the way,
Ah.
To
Oh,
a
okay.
woman.
to a woman.
Ah.
Okay.
And that's all we're gonna say.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
That's
there was-
kind of
there
the
was some
joke
gay
with
code in
Gil.
there. I get it.
Uh-huh.
But who's the other person that Frasier recruits, Mark?
Bob Bulldog Briscoe.
What do you guys think
Does
about
he
Bob
run the
Bulldog
sports
Briscoe?
channel?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Sports fan.
I
Yeah,
knew it.
yeah.
That's
Harrison,
the only
you're
way a guy
psychic.
like that's how a guy like
Harrison
that
is
gets into radio.
psychic. Harrison, tell me my fortune.
You at the end of this episode will be very happy to have talked about Frasier for 45 minutes.
Let's see if you're correct.
Zach, how do you feel about him stealing your psychic bit from when he talked to Michael Campion?
Ooh. Well, listen. He can predict the future. I can predict lottery numbers. It's a whole different thing.
Okay.
We
okay.
did say that we were going to find out what I could predict.
So, yeah,
but
there we
never
go.
did it,
Michael,
so
if you're listening to this, we
we
finally, found it.
out the thing I'm psychic about.
Harrison and I just formed like a mentalism duo
Yeah.
and then perform at the Magic Castle.
He recruits Bulldog. He recruits Gil, and Bulldog also says that he has someone that he has in mind to play one of the parts.
Yes, Maxine, his
Girlfriend.
maybe girlfriend, definitely stripper.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he says if she had $1 for every time she was on stage. Oh wait, actually she does.
Oh, I thought I misinterpreted that joke. I
Same.
thought he was saying like she's such a bad actor that she only has $1 to show for all her work.
okay.
I thought it was
No.
I thought it was a thing where it's like, oh, she doesn't oh wait, she already does, meaning she has no dollars and has never appeared on a stage before. But no, that makes a lot more sense.
No, people pay her to get off the stage. That's why she has $1.
Ah,
Mm.
yes. It only takes $1. That's all she wants.
She's very, very affordable.
I'm gonna stay up here until you give me that $1.
Here you go.
She just
I don't
looks
know.
like Diogenes the Cynic. She has no use for money, so she just needs one to get by.
What do you think her record is? How long do you think she's been on stage before someone gave her a single $1?
I feel like she's gotta have at least one story where she was on stage for over 24 hours straight.
Oh, someone was just like, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and then people
On
just got
principle.
so tired of her bullshit. They're like, no, we're not doing it. They were like calling her bluff.
It's very
Yep.
experimental.
Yeah, she got rave reviews for her experimental piece of theater.
Yep.
Performance art.
24-hour production.
I will not get off stage until you give me a single $1, and I will be there for 24 hours. It's a commentary about capitalism and the way we value art.
Speaking
Oh
of
my
valuing
God.
art, Frasier still needs to cast the lead.
Yes.
Of
Oh, right.
course.
But he can't find anybody who's qualified enough to play the lead. That is, of course, unless he himself were to play the lead,
Yep.
as predicted by Niles. Again, Niles is psychic.
Yep, Niles is psychic.
They do a very funny bit where he's like walking out and he's thinking, "Oh man, but I mean, where are we? I'll do it if I have to, but I'm still hoping that we'll find
The perfect
a
actor to
sophisticated
play a
Scotland
Scottish
Yardish
yeah, Scotland
inspector
Yard.
who should have walked in right now, and then a perfect looking British man walks in with a pipe in his mouth and says, "Hello, can I interview for the part of the inspector?" And they say, "Nope, sorry, cast."
It's
Yep.
almost as if they found like an actual Scotland Yard investigator, and they was like, "Hey, you want to come on, Frasier?"
Yep. which demonstrates what I think is Frasier's defining attribute, more so than culture, wine, or opera. I think his ego is the governing force with Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His ego is bigger than his massive ass.
Frasier's dummy thick.
Frasier's dummy thick.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they talk about it all the time on the show.
Do they
Damn.
actually?
Kinda.
I legitimately don't know if this is a bit or not.
There are a
I don't
few
know.
jokes. I'm doing it as a bit.
Okay.
I know I was watching an episode recently where like Roz is trying to set Frasier up with her friend, and her friend says, "But you say he's always such a tight ass," and she says, "No, I mean he has a tight ass. You get it?"
Frasier
Yes.
crazed enormous ass.
Yeah.
He makes sure to do his squats in the morning. You
Yep.
know, he never forgets leg day.
Frasier never
Indeed.
forgets leg day. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yes. After all, how is he going to win all of his boxing matches?
That's true.
How is he going to
yes.
win all of his boxing
Yeah.
matches if he doesn't do leg day?
Of course.
You need those legs for boxing. Doing for footwork.
Of course, his fast footwork. We also
Yeah.
should say, when we were describing all of the main characters, some of whom aren't featured so much, I think Roz's biggest game in this show doesn't really come up in this episode, which is that Roz has a lot of sex.
That did
That's-
not come
that's
up in
sort
the
of-
episode.
That's sort of her
Yeah.
joke.
Okay.
And everyone makes fun of her for it. And it's kind of it's kind of welcoming that a show doesn't really demonize her for it.
Yeah.
The main
I mean, people make
character
jokes,
does,
but every time they make jokes, she's like, yeah.
she owns it. I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roz was like, yeah, I fuck.
Roz is
Harry
very
Gilpin,
sex
please come on our
positive.
podcast.
Roz fucks.
Roz
Oh my God.
fucks. Put that
Roz
on a
fucks.
t-shirt.
Yep.
I just wanted to give you guys a full picture of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the show did a good job. Just, rolling with the characters. I didn't feel like I needed to know all of it. Which for a TV show, that is just perfect, just being able to sit down
Yeah.
and watch any episode and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I really appreciate about it. I
Yeah.
really love those shows. I feel like Frasier and a lot of these sitcoms sort of its ilk feel, if this makes any sense, feel like a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It just
Yeah.
feels like being inside on a rainy day and not having much to do, and it just being calm and sort of this like out of time experience. And I love that. I find it deeply comforting, and that's why I love these kinds of shows. I will say Frasier is also a very weird show, and I just mean that it's very singular.
Nothing is like it.
Nothing is like it,
No.
which is part
Yeah.
of why Tyler and I are both kind of obsessed with it.
I think that someone had said that Frasier, every episode is like a play, like its own
Mhm.
individual play. Like they even have act breaks. And they do
Yeah.
it a lot in this episode, but they'll even
You're
break up
right,
scenes
yeah.
or like a cut to black with like a white text, like, describing the scene.
Yeah. Like again, in these nitty gritty details, like it sort of does have a theme song, but its theme song plays over the end credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have any cold opens, I don't think, at least.
Yeah, I don't think it does
No,
cold opens.
I think it just does like its short little intro sequence and then goes right into the episode.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, down to things like we've made jokes that a lot of sitcoms can be described as it's like Friends, but so like even very famous, very good, very successful, very distinct sitcoms are kind of certain other things. Like Seinfeld sort of is like Friends, but filtered through Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David's minds. You know, it's about
Yeah.
a bunch of people living their lives in New York City. Like Frasier is about a bunch of people living their lives in New York City, but they're or not New York City, in Seattle, but they're not really like friends. They're a family and coworkers. And it's not
Yeah.
really about like dating or anything. It's sort of about dating, but it's about this like high culture, low culture thing. And it's a spinoff. It's just there are all these things that make it so that I just like can't stop thinking about Frasier.
And we can tell, by the way, based on the amount that you bring up Frasier, despite the fact that even when we're not talking about Frasier, Mark finds a way to bring up Frasier.
Yeah.
Which, like, now I understand why. Because it is a very good show, and it is very distinct.
Yeah. Again, it's all of those things that I described, and also it's very good.
Yeah. And, like, it's one of those things where even after one episode, I can tell, like, I can see why this show is very successful and why people like Mark and Tyler love this show so much. And that's after just one episode, like one random episode, which, like,
by the way,
they picked out.
Kelly Grammer is not our sponsor, by the way. He does not have a gun to our heads.
By the way, go to his bar in New Jersey. He will actually serve you alcohol.
No. Kelsey Grammer would never do that. Kelsey Grammer is not holding a gun to my head. David Hyde Pierce, however, is holding a gun to my head.
Yes, David Hyde Pierce took a break from his Julia Child HBO show just to come to our show and hold a gun to our heads.
Yes.
Say something good about a TV show I was on.
I was in Spamalot, damn it!
I was in Spamalot.
I think I've seen him in Spam a lot when I was younger.
That's cool.
But back at the apartment, back at Frasier's place.
Yeah, they're doing a reading of the play to time it out and to practice. And we should also say Frasier he's gotten a real find. Mel White, an actual actor who specializes in dialects, is going to be in his radio play.
That's right. He got not Mel Blanc.
Correct.
Mel Blanc.
Blanc. Did I say Blanc? Fuck. Not Mel Blanc.
Which Mel White is a joke about Mel Blanc.
I know. Yeah. That was another thing in the IMDb trivia, was that it was a Mel Blanc reference.
Man of a thousand
really
voices.
Funny.
But here's the thing. Frasier's standards are just a little higher than Mel White can reach.
I mean, in fairness, it would have totally taken me out of the story if the German guy had an Austrian accent. I would not have been able to.
Right?
Mel White was sounding a little too Austrian for my liking. And Frasier agrees.
Yes.
Frasier immediately points that out.
It's one of this episode has many good jokes. Usually we take down the jokes that we especially like, but I didn't really do that because this episode just has a lot of really good jokes. But I did take down, I really liked Mel White responds, "I've done that accent on London and the Broadway stage." And Frasier says, "Well, maybe their standards just aren't as high as mine."
Me,
Dr. Frasier Crane, radio psychologist.
Yeah, radio psychiatrist, Dr. Frasier Crane. We should also point out Gil Chesterton, who is playing the role of
Nigel Fairservice.
Nigel Fairservice.
Yes.
Is really excited to do this monologue about his boyhood in Surrey. That's all he wants to do. And I'm sure that will go perfectly.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. He is very excited about this part. He's killing it.
Yep.
Yes.
One thing I'll point out about this scene is that when I saw it on Paramount Plus, where Frasier is airing right now, there was a scene that was actually like a little bit that was taken out of this scene with Bulldog, where he's playing the character, the silk merchant Wang.
Oh, they took it out?
They took that out of the of all the subsequent airings.
Oh, I don't blame them, but they do. Is that they don't?
I didn't mean to interrupt
basically,
you.
He's playing a Chinese caricature, and they treat it like it's racist.
Well, that's not it. That's not it.
it.
They take out one line. They take out the line where he says they say his name, and then then Bulldog cracks up, and then Frasier says, "Oh, let's change his name to Wing," and then Daphne says, "Sound of changing Wang to Wing." So they took out Daphne's line.
Oh, what?
Really?
Yeah. They took out Daphne's line.
What? It's not even because you said they take out a line. I thought they were going to take out the line where Bulldog reads his line and does.
That's what I thought they were going to take out.
Accent.
I'd also like to point out during this scene, Bulldog was like doing a whole thing where he's like laughing at the name Wang, and I was like, is it too early to say that Bulldog is my favorite character? And then immediately after, Bulldog does that line, and I'm like, I feel like it may have been a bit too early. Yeah, may have been a bit too early. to say that this is my favorite character.
And to be fair, they do point out that that's incredibly insensitive.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
immediately afterwards.
They do. Yeah.
I think that's a valid joke when you're talking about a radio show from the 1930s or whatever, when that would definitely be something.
Yeah.
Of course. We should also note Daphne is timing everything. She's reading all the sound effects. And
stage directions.
Yep.
As well.
Stage direct. Yep. I wrote in my notes, Daphne wants to kill Frasier.
Yes. Also reading for Maxine's one line because Maxine couldn't make it.
Yep.
And the entire time I'm just like, yeah, Daphne has killed. Daphne has definitely killed the man.
Yeah. Daphne wants to kill Frasier is basically a note that applies to every episode.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's a reason why she had to leave Manchester.
Yeah.
Daphne has killed a man. This is my new headcanon, is that Daphne has killed a man. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
Daphne has killed a man or possibly many men.
Yes.
Many.
Possibly multiple men.
But guys, bad news. Frasier's incessant criticism has caused Mel White to, throw up his hands and just leave the room.
Yeah.
To quit.
He quits, yeah.
He quits.
He does.
And it does sound very German. I didn't hear any Austrian in that.
I was gonna say I thought it sounded a bit Austrian to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, Frasier said as they worked, I think he got the German part, but he just said it wasn't like gruff enough.
Yeah.
He needed like a Bavarian gruffness.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's left without someone to fill in the 6 different accent roles.
Yep.
Yeah. So who's he gonna call?
I'm sure that won't bite him in the ass at all.
Yeah, does he call the Ghostbusters?
Unfortunately, no.
There are 4 of them, and some of them were on Saturday Night Live, so they can do.
So they are very
voices.
accomplished impressionists.
Yes.
But no, unfortunately, they're in New York, so they couldn't make it.
Yeah, the cross country flights are expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he calls Niles.
He calls Niles. Which always good to get more Niles in an episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, probably by far my favorite character in the show.
I think
David
he was
Hyde Pierce
my
is a
favorite in the
genius.
episode, at least. So.
Yeah, I feel like Niles definitely jumped up the list for me at the end of the episode.
Yep.
He's got this constant manic anxiety that just makes every scene he's in so funny to me.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce finds the way to sell everything he does, finds the funniest way to do every single line, the funniest while being in character.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's just very good.
So now we cut to the night of the performance.
Yes.
Everybody's getting ready.
They thrust the script into Niles' hands. They didn't give him the script at all beforehand. He has no idea that he's playing 6 characters.
He does not know that he is playing 6 characters. He does not know which character he is even playing.
Yes.
Let alone that there are 6 of them.
Can I just say, Frasier is good at this.
Yes.
He's very good.
He's very good at this.
I find it funny that he spent all day toying with the script, but he didn't take one look at it and immediately conclude that he had to change Wang's lines. He had to read them out loud first.
That's true. Because he tinkers with it before the initial read through. So he just left that in.
I think it's ambiguous whether Wang's lines were all spelled phonetically like Bulldog read them, or if Bulldog was just doing a racist accent. I took it as Bulldog was doing a racist accent.
Yeah, now that you say it out loud, I do think it might be more the latter.
To be fair, I also am more familiar with Bulldog as a character.
Yeah.
Not that he's always racist, but he's very uncouth and bad and
we love him for it.
Yeah.
It's bad because I'm trying to describe him and I'm ashamed that I can only think of the words Frasier would use to describe him.
Oh my god.
Uncouth, boorish.
Indeed.
Yeah, speaking of Bulldog, he's all ready for the performance. He brought Maxine. She is preparing for her one line because she is dyslexic.
Her one line, and look out, he's got a gun.
It's the day.
Yeah.
Yep. Look out, he's got a gun. It's the day of recording, and we are already, before recording, running into some problems.
And it's like a good 5 minutes before they're actually going to record.
Yeah.
Maxine is dyslexic and may not know her one line.
Yep. 2, Bulldog's a little nervous, and then he talks to Frasier, and he leaves more nervous.
Yeah.
3, Roz comes in, and she was just at the dentist.
So she's got a mouthful of Novocaine, baby.
Mouthful of Novocaine. No. Mouthful of Novocaine, no fucks to give.
Yeah.
Well, she would say, no fucks to give.
And 4, Niles is here, does not know who he is playing, let alone the fact that he is playing 6 different characters.
Yes.
Frasier is good at this.
But
Frasier
hey,
is
there
good at
is
this.
one positive. Noel is working on sound effects, and he is killing it.
Oh,
Noel
yeah. He's got like
is
this whole
killing it.
setup.
Yep.
I honestly thought the whole setup was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, guys, what did you think of Noel's character? From the very small amount that you saw of Noel, what can you glean from his character?
I believe that based on what I've seen of Noel, if we are doing Sad Boy of the Week for Frasier, he would win a lot.
I think we must do Sad Boy of the Week for Frasier.
I don't know if we're doing Sad Boy of the Week, but if we did,
I think we have to do Sad
We
Boy
do
of the
for
Week.
Sad Boy of the Week every time.
Yeah.
We
But
gotta
hey,
do
guys,
Sad
can
Boy
I
of the
make
Week.
one note? Can it be Blues Boy of the Week?
yes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do Blues Boy.
I mean, listen, am I wrong with that, though? I mean, he doesn't do much in this episode, but he definitely gives off that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's also hopelessly in love with Roz.
Yes.
Uh,
He's hopelessly in love with Roz. It's funny that you describe it that way because I was gonna say he's a bit of a creep towards Roz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's
Ooh,
super into
yeah.
Star Trek. Those are his 2 character traits.
To be fair, in this episode, he didn't really speak much.
Yes, correct.
And in English, not in Klingon.
I'm sure I will come to love him in his own way.
I don't love Noel.
You
Yeah.
don't? Okay.
Yeah.
Great
He's too
performance.
creepy.
Yeah, great performance. This was maybe his most tolerable episode.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good to know.
Got it.
Good to know.
Anyway, the radio play starts and we are off to a great start because it starts with
Yeah.
she opened her mouth and spoke with some exotic accent. And then Roz starts
And she has the
To-
best
to be
line
fair,
to
so
deliver.
good.
From the far off land of Novocaine. The far off land of the dentist's office.
Inspector, where are you? Where were I?
I can't report
It's great. She has to say the phrase multiple murderer. Mother
Yeah, the words multiple murder, and then Frasier follows it up with,
Yeah.
what does he say again?
What was it? Something akin to like, couldn't I something about how
I couldn't
well
have
she
put
said.
it better myself.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better
Oh,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the whole. You said sort of, Zach, that this episode started off slow for you, but got better as it went along.
This is
It
where it
really
picks up.
is all building up
Oh, yeah.
to the radio
this.
play.
The radio
Yes.
play itself is really where this show went from like, this show is like, okay, I guess but I don't really see where the appeal is to, oh, now I totally get the appeal. Like, this is very
everything
good.
came around and was executed so wonderfully
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
as this man's ego collapses under its own.
The thing about Frasier that I always loved is that they're not just good at like writing good lines and writing good, quips. It's all about the interactions.
Yes,
They
yeah.
handle
Yes.
character interactions so perfectly, and this is just a great example of that. Where
Yeah.
Oh,
everything just
yeah. The
goes
character
wrong.
interactions in the radio play are so good. I liked it a lot.
But what else goes wrong during this scene?
So many things. Well, it comes time for Mr. Wang, having been changed to Mr. Wing because Bulldog couldn't stop laughing, to speak. And Bulldog just completely freezes up. And Frasier,
Yeah.
in a brilliant bout of improv, says, "Ah, yes, the mute Mr. Wing."
Who always has a bell on his hat.
And he runs over to the sound effects board and rings a bell.
Wait a yes and.
I love how we keep cutting back to Daphne and
Martin.
Martin.
Martin throughout the play.
Yeah.
And because he's seen this before and he says, "Oh man, I don't remember it being so silly."
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was
So
there in 1940, but he
No, but
remembers
he
radio
like
plays
these
in
kinds
general.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
good. Oh, okay.
But yeah, we do keep cutting back to them and it's great. And Daphne was like, "Huh, he wasn't mute when we rehearsed it last night."
It's very good.
But Niles is kind of killing it. He's
Yep.
given 6 different characters on the fly and handles them pretty well.
Yep, all of Niles' characters speak in a row.
There's a very fun moment where it's like, because when Niles comes in, he's like, wait, I don't know what character I'm playing. And Fraser's like, oh, no, it's all good. I'll cue you in when it's your turn to speak. And so then like the first part of the play is just introducing all the characters. And so they introduce like Hans, the German butler, and he points at Niles, and Niles is like reading the lines. Then O'Toole, the gardener, points at Niles again. And then it's just like a sequence where they keep introducing characters and he keeps pointing at Niles and Niles just makes up a voice on the fly, and it's very good.
I didn't even write it down as like Frasier keeps pointing at Niles and Niles does his characters. I wrote down this beat as Niles is the best character.
The best moment to me is when Niles has to do the voice of Peppa the dwarf.
Yep.
Yes.
The circus performing dwarf. And so he doesn't know what to do. So Frasier, in another moment of brilliant improv, goes over to Noel's sound station, grabs a balloon that has helium in it, makes Niles suck up the helium, and says, "Where were you, Peppa?"
At the movies.
It was very good. It was very,
so
very good.
perfect. But Frasier's still worried about running long. So another big problem. I think this does happen beforehand. Or no, it happens. They take a little break where Niles does say to Frasier, you're having me play 6 characters? I'm not a professional actor. It is kind of a wonder that Niles can do all those accents.
Yeah,
Being a psychiatrist.
Niles is, you said it yourself. Niles is the best character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was that show, that musical that he and Frasier did back in prep school.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've done their fair share of theater.
Yeah.
Frasier and Niles are theater kids.
He has some training.
It's true calling the theater.
The theater.
Much like J Money.
Much like J Money.
But they're running a little bit on time, and so Frasier tells Gil.
Yep.
By the way, he had already cut a couple of Gil's favorite lines for Nigel Fairservice. but he informs,
saying Gesundheit after the butler sneezes.
because he's a caring person.
He's a caring person, and a caring person says Gesundheit.
How else will we know that he's a caring person if he doesn't say Gesundheit to the butler after he sneezes?
By the way, and Tyler, I assume the microphone either didn't pick it up or you may cut it out from the final edit, but I sneezed in the middle of recording this podcast and none of you said Gesundheit.
Well, because
so I
we're
just
not
have to
caring
assume
people,
none of you
Mark.
care about me.
Oh, I missed it.
I also
I'm so
missed
sorry,
it.
Mark.
Yeah, I didn't even realize.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Well,
Gesundheit.
actually, you know what? That's good because it means I preserved my audio.
Yeah, I didn't even hear a sneeze.
I ducked off screen to
okay.
sneeze.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Frasier tells Gil that unfortunately he has to cut the best speech that Nigel has, his Boyhood in Surrey speech.
Which Gil has been looking forward to the entire episode.
Yeah. And Gil, he just goes mad.
Yeah.
He's devastated.
He's a man on the edge, and he has he
Yes.
doesn't have
So
he has nothing to lose.
So the play continues, and more characters are going to start dying. Maxine reads her one line, which is, "Look out, he's got a nug," which I can only assume means the killer is using a chicken nugget to murder people.
Of course.
The perfect crime.
And
Perfect.
and Nigel has been shot. And he's like, "Oh no, I've been shot." And then he starts to do his speech anyway. And this begins a wonderful trend in the episode in which Frasier kills off all of the not Frasier.
No, just
in which all the
anytime
characters
something
get
isn't
killed
working,
off.
they just kill off the character.
Yeah.
he gets shot, and Frasier had instructed him, when you get shot, instead of doing the speech, just die. But instead he starts doing the speech, and so Frasier shoots him again. And he says, Frasier says, "Oh no, Nigel has been shot again." And he says, "It only grazed me." And he keeps doing the speech.
Gil pulls a Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Frasier.
then they blow his head off in the play, and then
Gil
ice
pulls-
cream man.
Oh no! There's first before that
No.
Gil pulls the classic. "Oh no, my twin brother!"
Yes,
It's
that's
so
right.
good
Yes.
because you don't know what's coming, but he goes over to the sound effects board, opens up the door they have for door sounds, closes it, and says, "Hello, it's me, Cedric, Nigel's brother. Now,
And then he dies.
We used to romp in the fens and spinneys.
And then a schoolmate of the Fair Service brothers
And also the ice
comes
cream man,
in,
yeah.
also played by Gil,
well, at
and then
one point-
he dies too.
yeah, at one point, Noel, instead of playing the tape with organ music, instead plays a tape that's like an ice cream truck.
Like
Yeah.
Calliope music.
Yeah, Calliope
Yeah.
music, and Frasier says, "The ice cream truck is outside. Moving on." And so then Gil comes in and says, "It's me, the ice cream man. I went to school with Nigel."
We were school chums back in Surrey. We used to romp in the fens and spinneys.
This is like a whole thing where Frasier's like,
When the
and with
twilight
that,
bathed
we've
the
killed off the
hedgerows.
last of Nigel's bloodline.
Yeah,
And,
so good.
and then it all reaches a breaking point,
Yes,
a tragic breaking point.
where Niles becomes fed up because Niles tells Frasier, "Okay, I'll do this, but don't fucking direct me." And it reaches the end of the play where Hans, the German butler, reveals that there's more to him. He's not even German. So now Niles just starts talking in his normal voice.
It's a really good line. I took a note of it, or I didn't take a note of the line, but it's very good where he says, "And by the way, I'm not even German."
Yep.
He flips the page and sees it.
And he's going through this dramatic monologue, and Frasier is like directing him from the side, and Nigel's like, "You know what? Fuck it." Goes over to the balloons they use for gunshots and kills off every single character.
The Thorndike twins are running low on bullets. Can you stand together?
Can you stand back to back for me? Oh, thank you.
He starts off with all of his characters. He's like, "I don't want to do these
Yes.
anymore. Oh no, O'Toole, you've died." And then he just kills off everyone else, and it's great because like he kills off Roz, and you can see Roz being like, "Thanks."
He kills Wing and then rings the bell after he shoots him.
Yeah, Noel rings the bell afterwards, and that's a very good touch.
Yep.
Uh,
So good.
Yeah.
He kills off literally everybody.
he kills off like everybody except for Frasier's character.
Yes.
And then last person he kills is himself. He pops the balloon to kill him off, and then he goes, "Ha!"
So good.
Very good.
And then Frasier's like, "Well, looks like the mystery was solved. Hans was a
Sort
mass
of.
murderer, and I guess that explains it." Well,
Yes.
that's been
Bye.
all for
And then they have
Nightmare
9
Inn.
minutes left.
Yep, they discover they have 9 minutes left.
We're
Oh
tired.
my god. It's so good. It's just the end is such a good scene where everyone just gets killed off.
Yeah. To be honest, that was the only thing I remembered from the episode. I remembered Niles does a bunch of voices, and he also kills everybody because he's just fed up with doing the play.
Again, David Hyde Pierce holding up a gun to us in real life.
David Hyde Pierce, please come on the podcast.
David Hyde Pierce, please come on the podcast.
You're already here with a gun to the back of our heads.
Yeah.
You can come on,
You
Mike.
should just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
And then the episode ends as all Frasier episodes do, with the outro song playing, and there's like a bit of physical comedy that happens.
Yep. Completely silent, but we hear the blues of Callin, tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
And Noel is like kind of, acting in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
And then Roz
Mhm.
behind him goes over and pops a balloon, causing him to
Yeah.
discombobulate.
Yeah.
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 And
That was cute.
And might I say, in this thread of like reasons why we're kind of obsessed with Frasier and it not being like any other show, like again, it has that theme song, but the lyrics are so weird because they didn't want any overt references to psychiatry. So instead, and I will just recite them for you. It
Uh-huh.
says, "Hey
Yes,
baby, I
okay.
hear the blues a callin', tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Oh my.
Oh my. And maybe I seem a bit confused.
Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
But I've got you pegged.
Ha 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 ha.
But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Wonderful.
They're calling
Wonderful.
again.
Bravo. Bravo.
Frasier
I
has
can
left the
actually
building.
imagine a blues singer singing that.
But no,
Yeah.
It's Kelsey Grammer
Kelsey
doing
Grammer.
his best like Wolfman Jack voice.
Really?
Oh, really? I didn't
That's
know
Kelsey
that.
Grammer singing the theme song.
That's pretty great.
That is great. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And speaking of great, Zach, do you wanna take us to our favorite segment?
Sure. Sorry, you said you wanted to rename it for this episode, right? Earlier in the podcast?
Yes.
I'll let you do the honors because you're our guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you also know the name that we're doing this to because I forgot because I'm a big dumb.
Yeah, Zach's a big dumb idiot, so Tyler, you
I'm
go.
a big dummy.
Well, we heard the blues are calling, and so now, as we like to do in every episode, we're going to look back at our favorite characters' saddest moments
Mm.
and point out who is the blues boy of the
The
week.
blues are
I
calling.
love that.
Or do we want to say bluest boy of the week?
Ooh.
Yeah.
The bluest boy.
I
Okay.
mean,
Who
I
is
was
the
thinking
bluest?
blue boy of the week, but any of those were.
Blue
Because
boy.
it's sad boy, not
Blue
sad
boy of the
It's
week.
true.
Sad boy.
It's true.
Blues boy, yeah.
Who's the blue boy?
Unfortunately,
of the
Tobias Funke is not in this episode.
Okay. I would like to nominate Frasier.
Frasier, okay.
Yeah,
week.
Frasier.
Frasier. Yep.
I would like to nominate.
I think Gil, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like we can
Gil,
nominate
yeah.
most of the
Gil.
characters.
Gil Chesterton.
Yes.
Gil, definitely. I feel like Niles you can also throw
Niles.
in.
Niles.
I feel like those three are kind of the key.
I think
Yeah.
those three are
Frasier,
definitely the
Niles,
biggest
and Gil.
contenders.
Yep.
I would say Daphne, but she didn't have much of a role this episode. I feel like if she
True.
had a larger role, I'd be more inclined to include her.
Yeah, she's more the bitter boy
Yeah.
of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Roz with the Novocaine, but yeah, you know, she
Yeah.
She just kind of
Yeah.
goes with it.
knows with it. Yeah.
So we're sticking.
She still does the radio.
Yeah.
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 Roz has commitment.
It's
That's her
Yes.
character. She fucks and she has commitment.
weird how she comes in, she has like a mouthful of Novocaine, and in the end, it's like one of the smaller things that goes on.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the
Like that is the
bad
least of
thing
Frasier. That is the
happens.
least of the problems with this telecast.
Yep.
Well, hey, a good producer can just roll with the punches whenever.
Hey.
All right, that's it. We're doing our next episode when we're all on Novocaine.
Oh god.
Yay! Hey,
Yeah, how about that,
Tyler called us out. Tyler called us out. I'm telling you to put your money where your mouth is.
What money? We make no money off of this
And
show.
our mouths have a shit ton of Novocaine in them.
Anyway, so we're going with Frasier, Niles, and Gil Chesterton, correct?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. Frasier is very excited to put on Nightmare Inn. So excited, in fact, that I just want to say, he loops everyone he knows into acting in it, even though they are not actors. Like, you can find actors to be in radio plays.
Well, I mean, he
Um,
found one.
He found one.
Yeah, get on backstage.com.
I just thought it was funny that Frasier, instead of being like, yeah, I'll get some voice actors, I'll find some people, some professionals, he's like, I don't know, maybe Bulldog would be good. I mean, really, Frasier, Bulldog?
Of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gil's a ham. Gil kind of fits in, but like, yeah, he's just kind of like, I'll take whoever I can get.
You almost found a Scotland Yard detective.
Yep.
But he Orson Welles it too much.
He
Orson
so he
Welles
had to
it
take
too
on the role
much.
himself.
Despite
Had to be in it himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Despite saying, oh, I don't want to play any of the roles, I'm not going to do that, he immediately decides to play one of the roles. And despite being confronted with the perfect actor, he says it's already been filled.
Yep.
He micromanages everybody to the point that he drives away his only actual actor. He keeps cutting and cutting away. I mean, we could run through everything he does, but he just bungles every single element of the radio play.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
He fails everything.
But
fails-
it's in the best possible way that makes him a perfect nominee for Blue Boy.
Yeah, for Blue Boy. He fails everything and then is also 9 minutes short after cutting so much. He didn't have to
Yes.
cut the speech about the boyhood in Surrey.
Wow, what a transition into our next nominee.
No.
Our next nominee, Gil Chesterton. Gil Chesterton, who only wanted to do this one thing, this one speech about his boyhood in Surrey.
What did he do in his boyhood?
What did he do in his boyhood in Surrey? He romped with his school chums in the fens and spinneys. When the twilight bathed the hedgerows.
God.
Oh my god.
In a lambent flame.
To be fair, first he wants to play Bull Cragen, the brutish gamekeeper. But Frasier doesn't think he's particularly suited for that. But again, I think his biggest thing
I wonder why.
is that he wants nothing more than to do this one speech, and it gets cut. And then he refuses to let it go. He just keeps doing it
He
and
decides-
keeps doing
Oh my
it. And
God.
every time they try to stop him, he finds another way to keep doing it. He invents 2 characters.
Oh
do
my
it.
god.
He doesn't just do the it's my twin brother. He also does it's me, their friend from school. Let me tell you about something.
He's very
This
dedicated to this
man-
one monologue.
Yes.
He has gone off the edge, and his one goal in life is to ruin this production of Nightmare
Yep.
Inn.
So good. And yet he doesn't get to finish the speech.
No, he doesn't.
Niles Crane, Dr. Niles Crane, immediately knows this is going to be a disaster, yet still ends up being roped into it, is not aware that he's going to have to play 6 characters. It's sprung on him in the moment. Not even before they start recording does Frasier go, actually, you're playing 6 characters, and here they are. He says, oh, in the moment, I'll just point to you, and it won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe is more for Frasier's case, but also I think is pretty sad for Niles. Niles, to his credit, fucking brings it.
Yeah.
Yes, he
He
does.
brings it,
Oh yeah.
but he gets so fed up with Frasier's directing that he just kills everybody and himself.
He puts the production out of its misery.
Yes.
Like a dog with a limp. Just-
Niles really is the epitome of like, I've only known so and so for 5 minutes, but if anything ever happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself.
So he's a precious cinnamon roll and must be protected.
Course.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think those are our cases. Who are you
Yeah.
voting for?
Ooh.
I mean, here's my thing. I feel like Frasier has the most to do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think Gil's case is funniest.
Gil's case is
Yeah.
very funny.
I also
It
cannot
was
get that
funny.
speech
I know.
out of. That's the thing that really stuck with me from this episode was romping with my
I
school
know. I
chum.
think it's Gil.
Romping with
I think
I also want to
yeah,
vote for
I'll
Gil.
Gil. Yeah. So Gil is the blue
I
boy.
kind of wanted
Congratulations,
Niles
Gil.
to win because I love Niles so much. But I think it's Gil.
No, it's
Gil
it's
Chesterton.
definitely gotta be Gil. He never got to finish his speech.
Never got to finish his speech. So I hope you guys understand why we're so obsessed with Frasier now.
I do.
I
I
do.
definitely understand why you're obsessed with this show, and I will definitely be watching more of it at some point.
I'm
Yes.
happy I got to go off on a tangent about how it's so weird that Niles and Frasier are the same character.
And
Yeah.
it works.
And it works.
How does
How
it
does it
work?
work?
Works.
I don't know. It's the weirdest. How does it work? You can't do that. But I believe that's it for our episode. Please follow us on social media. We're at Fullest House Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I hope everybody listening has a wonderful day. I'm Mark Greene.
I'm Harrison Bloom.
I'm Zach Horowitz.
And I'm Tyler Janess.
And until next time, may your houses be fuller. And here's wishing you good mental health. Good night, listeners.